I'll be here in just a bit. So let's start our interview session with our student athletes. As you can see from the name cards, we have Timmy Allen, Tyrese Hunter, Marcus Carr, Sir Jabari Rice, and Brock Cunningham. Guys, welcome. Congratulations on your victory yesterday. Let's go to questions now for student athletes, and as we said, Coach will be here in just a bit. Guys, the first question will be on your right.
Hey Tyrese, Luke Shaney with Life Follow Sports. What were your impressions of Miami when you played them last year in the tournament, and in what ways do you think this Hurricanes team is different from last year?
I think last year they played very fast. I think there was kind of everywhere on defense, just trying to get out in transition. I really don't see no difference this year, honestly. They kind of filled in the role of the players that they lost last year. Just getting out, running and jumping, playing fast up and down, and keeping the pace up.
Okay, let's go to the left side on the aisle for the next question.
Okay. Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Congratulations on being here. For any of you, really, can you just talk about, after watching Miami play Houston, what are some of the things that you think are most important to try to stop them? And they've scored so many points. What do you have to do to stop them a little bit, limit them?
You said they're a great team. Obviously, they're playing really well right now. Been playing really well. Played really well yesterday. Just their physicality. That's the biggest thing we noticed. A few of us and everybody, we've close scrimmaged Houston the past couple of years, so we understand, what kind of physical team they are and how they attack the glass. And so to see that, the job that Miami did against them with their physicality and the way they rebounded the ball definitely speaks to just the toughness of their team and how they play. So we know we're going to have to match that.
Can I ask one follow-up on that?
We get the microphone over here to you. Sure can. Okay,
on that same topic, can you talk about Norchad Omier, and is he different from any player that you've seen before? People just talk about his strength, just brute strength. How do you see him as an opponent?
I don't know if I could speak to his strength. I mean, it's pretty evident watching the film, but haven't played him before, so I can't personally attest to it. But obviously, he's a great rebounder, a great player, and he's been doing that for them all year. And we're definitely gonna have to do a job on him.
Okay, our next question will go on the right aisle.
Chip Brown, Horns 24/7. Timmy, can you just talk about the evolution of this team's defensive buy-in? Because it seems like things, the offense opened up a little bit, under Rodney, but maintaining that buy-in on defense. Can you just talk about that?
I think we really started to begin to turn the corner on defense when we lost at home against K-State. We noticed in the film that we watched that we can't play open gym with teams. When we come down and we focus our energy on getting stops and putting consecutive stops together, and we can convert those to baskets, then we can create separation. And that's just kind of what we've continued to try and hang our hat on. Just get better at one-on-one defense and then get better collectively. As each of us have got better at one-on-one defense, we're not in rotations as much. We're trying to contain the ball more and just keep it in front of us and play tendencies. So that's just really been what it is, and just gang rebounding at the end of possessions and finishing possessions with a rebound. We don't really feel like there's a lot of mismatches you could put on our team as long as we keep a body in front, a man in front, and we're focusing on their strong hand, their tendencies. We could live with the result of that. So really just trying to hone in on details, take a lot of pride and effort in one-on-one defense, and then covering the mistakes of your teammates next to you.
Okay, extreme left.
Mark at ESPN. Marcus, you had a conversation with Tyrese when he was, considering making a move and transferring, kind of sold him on it. Why did you know he was a good fit for this team and this program? And for Tyrese, why did you think playing with a guy like Marcus was the right move for you?
Well, obviously him being Big 12 Freshman of the Year, I feel like that kind of speaks for itself. But not just that, just going against him, seeing, in real time, in real life, his speed, his quickness, the way he's able to play make, and his athleticism and score for himself as well. Just knowing the type of player he was, and knew that he would only, add value to us on both ends of the floor, just the type of player he was. And so, yeah, when he was in the portal, he was the guy that, we all spoke and we all said, yeah, we want him. And, we knew that, other people, or maybe even him and me, would have questions about, us playing together, thinking that wouldn't work. And so me just reaching out and letting him know, like, hey, we want you here, I want you here, like, and I know that we're going to fit well together. And if this is the right place, if you feel like this is the right place for you, we know that, we want you here. So ended up working out all right.
I watched Marcus in high school, just seeing his scoring instincts, his IQ for the game, and just knowing that, I could see myself playing alongside somebody like that. And for me to get the opportunity to play with him was big. In the summertime, he recruited me like he was one of the head coaches himself. Just talking about the fit, the feel, and how we can get to the opportunity that we're in right now. Just seeing, so many people talk about how it could work and how it couldn't work didn't faze us at all. We knew the plan and the footsteps that we had to follow behind, our coaching staff and, our support system. And we just had to get it done.
Okay, here on the left front.
Thomas Jones, Austin American Statesman. Timmy, how much does your role change with Dylan probably not playing? And what have you seen from Christian, playing extended minutes with Dylan out?
I'm going to start with Christian. He's a guy who's always been prepared. He's a guy who's always accepted his role. He was one of the more dominant, forceful guys for us last year coming back. And when he came to coming off the bench, he had no shake. He wasn't tripping. He wasn't worried about his. So for him to come in and be prepared is no surprise for me. He's a guy who's always ready. He's always paid his dues. He's always in the gym. He's always working, ready for his opportunity. So I know he's going to come in and be impactful and play defense and rebound at a high level when Dylan's not there. But for me, when Dylan's not playing, I usually size up a little bit, guarding a little bit bigger. Just take on whatever assignment is given to me, and just knowing I got to cover and rebound, try and protect the rim, whether that be jump walls or taking a charge, because I'm not blocking a ton of shots like he is. Just trying to fill in the gaps, play off my teammates, and when CB come in, he's rocking, so there's no fret there.
Okay, we'll stay on the left side here.
Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. For Timmy and Brock, you guys took turns guarding Xavier's big guy. This team's got 7 guys that are 6'7" or taller. Is there another team you played this year that matches up like that with you having that much height?
Brock, why don't you start first on that?
I think K-State is a good comparison all the way to their guard play, and they've got some size, but it's just how hard we play. We haven't been the biggest team on the court maybe just a few times this season, but we've got versatile players that can play a bunch of positions. It's been a big part of our success.
Going off what he said, size of our opponents has never been an issue for us, really. We try to depend on our hustle and our grit and our toughness to outmatch that. And like Brock said, we got a lot of guys who can guard a lot of different players. Can guard big, guard small. Guards can guard big, guard small. So we're versatile. We're ready for whatever.
Okay, let's move to our right now.
Nick Moore, San Antonio Express News. Yeah, Brock, but if any of the other guys want to take this as well. It's obvious watching you. Y'all are playing loose. You're playing with joy. You look free out there. What is it that has allowed this team to sort of play without getting, weighed down by the pressure that comes with this level of competition?
I think it goes back to our age and the veterans we have on the team. There's guys in this room that have lived a lot outside of basketball and played a lot of basketball as well. And, we go down against Penn State a couple points. Some teams would, freeze up and the moment would be too big, but we've got big-time players that are able to get the game back. And we're having a lot of fun playing with each other. We don't want it to end, and we want the season to go all the way.
With Coach Terry, what does he do maybe specifically to kind of allow you guys to be loose and free and just kind of be yourselves?
He's pretty loose if we're playing defense. If we're guarding defense, he's not too worried about the shots we're getting because we've got good offense and we've smart players. But I would say 90% of his focus is on the defensive end because that's what wins.
Okay, let's move to the left.
Mark Metcalf, ESPN. Marcus, what did beating Kansas in the span of a week twice do for this team's confidence as you all were headed into the postseason?
Obviously, Kansas is a great team. Beat us out for the regular season Big 12 championship, and that was something that was one of our goals for sure. A box that we wanted to tick. So just beating them twice in a week span, it was really just more of, I think it just speaks to the direction that our team was just going and how well we were playing at the end of the year. Obviously, Kansas is a great team, great program. It's always a battle whenever we go up against those guys. So I think we were just coming together at the right time. Our defense was strengthening at the right time, and we've just been able to just be on a run and play going up. So we just happened to have Kansas on our schedule for the last game of the regular season, and then obviously them being a good team, us meeting them in the Big 12 championship. So yeah, no, definitely those wins, but just all the wins that we've had recently, really just feeding into the confidence of our team, knowing that if we execute our game plan, if we play well defensively, then we're going to have a chance.
We have a little bit less than 5 minutes to go in this session with our student athletes. Let's go here on the right aisle.
Chip Brown, Horns 24/7 for Brock and for Timmy. Can you talk about your help defense down low? Seemed like last night it was really on point, and so just talk about how when a guy's driving, there always seems to be a help defender there.
Yeah, it starts with knowing the matchups. If a guy isn't as capable of a three-point shooter, we're able to drop down and help the guards, and it just goes down to our versatility and our scrappiness. We've got 14 guys that are willing to do anything to win and stick their head in there to get the ball out. But just knowing personnel and wanting to play defense is the biggest part of that.
Yeah, like you said, just the want to, the will to, taking pride in it, getting upset if your man gets a basket. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one-on-one defense. And we're at our best when we're flying around and covering each other's mistakes. It's not out there. We're not out there not making mistakes. We're just covering those up with miraculous plays, whether it's a steal or a block or a charge. So we just put trust in that and hang our hat on that.
We have media listening on Zoom. I think we have a question there. Alfred?
Corey Mose, please unmute yourself. Identify your affiliation and ask your question.
What's going on, y'all? Corey Mose, KVU News. This is for Jabari and Timmy. Jabari, first off, y'all had that moment last night where you're saying we're here to the crowd. What does that do for y'all's confidence and how y'all can continue to kind of get the ball rolling and continue to just ball out when you're able to talk to the crowd and talk to the fans during the game? And then for Marcus, I just had a question for your daughter, Kyrie. Were you surprised that she stayed up the whole night to watch the whole game, or were you shocked that when you saw her after the game that she was still awake?
Okay, so Sir Jabari will go first.
I think it's always nice to have the fans involved because the fans that travel here to come see our game, it's just a blessing for us to be able to put on a show like that in front of them. So to engage with them is always a good thing, and I think it builds confidence for us just to be able to have somebody behind us, have people behind us, because it's not always like that. And so when you get that opportunity, I think we just take advantage of it and just try to keep them behind us to give us that little bit of advantage that we need.
Okay, Marcus?
Me and her mom just kind of tried to plan it out, make her take a later nap so that, she could stay up a bit later. It's definitely, past her bedtime. But she loves hoops. She's a hoop head already, so I don't think she was too upset about being up for the game.
Okay, we have 2 minutes to go in this session for our student athletes. As you can see, Coach Terry has arrived, so questions for anybody at this point. Okay. Microphone to Cedric, right here on the front. Oh, we'll come back to you. Okay, Cedric.
Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. You guys came in loose and having a good time. Somebody was singing. It was horrible. Who was it?
It was I. But I was BSing. That wasn't real.
Oh, that was real.
That was real.
That's not real.
Definitely.
I was just singing with the bros. I was not serious.
Definitely serious.
You took that personal.
Do that. No.
Okay, so for those who don't know, Timmy is an inspiring R&B artist. We're working on, getting him some studio time, and we'll see what he cooks up. But yeah, that was a little preview.
Okay,
it's hard to duplicate Rihanna, fam. It's Riri. Work with me.
He don't got a fan of you, huh?
All right, we'll take 2 more questions. Let's go here on the left.
Timmy, you all are in a room in December. You find out your head coach is no longer your head coach in that moment. What did Rodney Terry say to you all that made you feel like the season wasn't over and that you guys were going to be in good hands?
He gave us reassurance of our plan. He gave us a clear view, he gave us a voice. He gave us a steady voice. And I don't think you could overlook that. I think a lot of the guys on this team were looking for guidance after that, looking for someone to follow, looking for someone to lead by example. And he's done that flawlessly. He's been somebody who's given me and guys around me a lot of confidence. For example, in the game yesterday, I mean, he shot like 3 snatch back, step back, midi twos, but in practice all week, RT saying, trust your pull-up, trust your mid-range, because we knew we can get to it. So that's just one example, but in that moment, he wasn't unprepared. He looked ready. He looked excited for the opportunity, as he should be. And we had the goal, and we had the plan, and we came here. And it's not going to change because bro fell down. RT stepping up, and he's done it flawlessly.
Okay, we're going to sneak in one last question here on the right.
Chip Brown, Horns 24/7. Marcus, it looked like in pregame introductions yesterday you ran over to the scorer's table or something. I mean, you just seemed really pumped up or, super charged or something. What were you feeling, and what did you do over there?
That's just something I do before, every game when they do introductions. They call my name, I come out, me and Barry do our handshake, and, I dap everybody up, and I kind of just run the midcourt, just talking to myself. I'm here, I'm ready, just ready for the moment, soaking in the environment. Obviously never had playing in the Sweet 16 before. It was something that, you dream of and always want to do. So I do that before every game, really, just soak in the environment, talk to myself, say I'm ready, I'm here, and, let's do this.
Okay, we will keep Coach Terry here, but we will excuse our student athletes to go to breakouts for the next 20 minutes. So guys, thanks for coming, and have a good practice today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck. Okay, we'll resume in about 30 seconds. Okay, we're back. Questions for Coach Terry. First one, Coach, will be on your extreme left here.
Okay. Rodney, you see your guys out. They're not afraid to talk back to opponents, let them know how they feel. That's kind of their vibe a little bit. As a coach, how much do you encourage that, kind of wearing their emotions on their sleeve like that in the middle of a game?
Well, we have an older team. We have a team that I always talk to our guys. I like our guys to have swag when they step out on the floor. And I think this year earlier we'll reference back to it too as well. Got a chance to coach P.J. Tucker when he was with us previously, and P.J. always had swag, and he's one of those guys that he always thought he was the baddest dude on the floor, no matter what. And I like our guys feeling that way. We have an older team. They play with a lot of emotions. Sometimes I can be an emotional coach as well, but we want to channel it in the right direction and play with the purpose as well. But I like our guys getting charged up and showing emotion and that they're emotionally attached to the game.
Coach, we'll go to your right now.
Hey, Rodney. Luke Cheney with Life All Sports. Just what stands out to you about this Miami team?
Man, you know what? They're well coached. Coach Larinaga, a lot of respect for him. Over the years, we've got a chance to compete previously, and when he was coaching at George Mason, I was at UNC Wilmington. But he has his team playing at the highest level right now. They can play really fast in transition. They do a great job of really sharing the basketball. They've got great guard play. They have an elite offensive rebounder with the mirror inside. Man, they're a very talented ball club. They're underrated, I think, defensively. They do a great job of really trying to turn you over. Their length, okay. They're stunning and doing a great job of really trying to get after you defensively is underrated. They're a really, really good ball club. And anytime you win the regular season ACC, you're pretty doggone good.
Okay, on Coach's left, toward the back.
Rodney, Mike Finger, San Antonio Express News. You talked about being an emotional coach. I think I saw some emotion when Timmy was telling that story about the first day and how you weren't unprepared. He's talked about that before, the awkwardness of that first moment and what you told them. What sticks out to you? Were you unprepared? How could you possibly have been prepared for something like that?
Well, I don't think there's a playbook for what happened in terms of when it happened or how it happened. But I think the one saving grace for myself, I was already in front of our guys. I was kind of a co-head coach with Coach Beard already. And so I was already in front of the guys coaching our defense and was always in front of the guys already coaching as opposed to just being an assistant to where maybe you didn't have as much input. But I think my one constant message to our guys on that day and moving forward was to live where your feet are, stay in the present right now, and we're going to control what we can control. We're going to continue to have a great season. We're going to block out all the noise, and we're going to play for one another, and we're going to continue to have all our goals and everything that we set out to start this season is in front of us. We're going to do it every single day. We're going to do it with a great attitude, great approach, and we're going to be excited about still competing. And I thought those guys have done a great job of that every single day, really living where their feet are, trying to really enjoy the moment, enjoy the journey. And, I think a lot like myself, they don't want this to end.
Okay, on the far right.
Hey, Coach. Chris DeMond with the Miami Hurricane. Going back to Miami, I wanted to ask about Coach Larrañaga and maybe any similarities you see between both of you. You've both had a part in bringing these programs back to national prominence recently. I mean, Texas is in their first Elite Eight since 2008, and the Canes made their first Elite Eight in program history last year. So thoughts on that?
You know what? I've always been a fan of Coach Larrañaga. Again, I go way back with him to George Mason days. And I thought that his teams always played with a great joy and a great spirit about themselves. They played loose and freely all the time, and I really looked up to him as a player's coach. Guys really enjoy playing for him, and they run through a wall for him over the years, and he's brought that to Miami, and he's obviously taking them to the top of the league in the ACC. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But a lot of great respect for him and his staff. He has some of his same guys on his staff that he had when he was at George Mason and experienced a high level of success. So he's had really good continuity over the years that have really helped him. We're only going to be as good as the people around us. I've got a great staff working with me right now. We have great chemistry with how we're doing things and how we've done things the last 2 years. And you can't do it by yourself, and I'm blessed to have a really good one behind us. So, Coach Larrañaga, a lot of respect for him.
Coach, let's go in the back on your left.
Hey, Coach. Dennis Delapane at Fox 7 Austin Sports. Marcus, Tyrese, Jabari, last night they shared it, they scored it, they protected the ball. How much confidence do you have in a deep run like this when you have those kind of guys running things?
Well, Dennis, I think we've done it all season long, to be honest with you. I mean, this team, one of the characteristics of this team is they've been extremely unselfish. They play for one another. They've had each other's back. I mean, we work on it all the time in terms of sharing the basketball. One guy has a good shot. The other guy has a great shot. And they've really bought into that mentality. Let's get the best shot that we can get. Let's get a shot up every time down because we know how hard it is for us to get a defensive stop. We know we've got to earn a basket on the other end. But let's share the basketball. Let's continue to take care of the basketball, and let's not beat ourselves.
We'll stay in the back on the left. Chuck.
Okay. Coach Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post. You've got transfers from New Mexico State, Minnesota, Creighton, Utah. It seems fragmented, yet in a short time, there's this obvious, very deep, great bond. How do you think that happens?
Well, Chuck, I think it happens. We had 7 guys return this year. That gave us a little bit of continuity. Last year, now we had an influx of guys that, the one thing we were fighting last year is we were building a culture and we were trying to build a team. Last year, we were behind on time when we were going against teams a lot of times that had been together for a number of years. So we were always saying, man, we're fighting time. Now, when we got our 7 guys back, we had that experience of those guys being together. Now we had needed to blend the new guys the younger guys in with our older guys. And I thought, again, this year we've been able to defend that culture. I thought we've been able to spend a lot of time this summer with different activities. And some of it, a lot of it was player-driven, not coach-driven. The best teams that have a high level of success, they're player-driven, not coach-driven. We didn't really have to force-feed these guys to spend time with each other off the court and do different activities off the court. They did it willingly on themselves. And they formed a bond this summer and had incredible chemistry that carried over into the fall, off the court, right on the court. And really has helped us this year have a great year and do what we're doing right now at this moment.
Down the aisle, here on the right.
Chip Brown, Horns 24/7, RT, couple questions. It sounded like the defensive buy-in might have happened after the 116-103 game with K-State. Can you talk about that? And then what specifically is, each members of your staff, Donewald, McLean, Ogden, Chappell, what are they doing specifically to help prepare the team?
No, great question, Chip. Chip's alluding to the game where we played K-State, and people didn't really know how good K-State was at the time. And Jerome Tame's done a great job, by the way, this season. Really happy for him and his success and what he's been able to do there at K-State this season. But they came to our building. They scored 116 points. We scored 103. And, we really – in November, spent a lot of time trying to establish an identity that we were going to be a team every night and every day, that we were going to play really hard on defense, and we were going to hang our hats every day on trying to be a team that could put stops together. We didn't put any stops together that night, obviously, and they went on and won the game. So, a couple of days later when we were back on the floor, we really needed to hit this reset button and kind of get back to our identity that we set out with the very beginning. But from a coaching perspective, I thought it was very important, though, that I didn't take away the fact that we could score. We're a team that could score the basketball. We scored 103 points, and that wasn't a fluke. We were a team that could be an elite team that could play offensively, but we also wanted to be a team that could really guard and be an elite defensive team as well. So there was a kind of a give and take there. Okay, I didn't want to come in and take away our offense because we could score, but I also had to send a message that for us to win games or meaningful games in a highly competitive Big 12 conference race, we were going to have to be able to guard and take a lot of pride in guarding. So we kind of hit the reset button, came back and really worked hard on our defense and tried to have more of a defensive-minded approach, as well as playing with really good pace on offense and still wanted to score the ball at a high level as well. As far as guys on my staff, Bob Donewald's a guy that's worked with our offense since the day that he's been here. He does a great job preparing our game plan for what we're trying to do offensively. Steve McLean has done a great job with our defense. He's done a great job every game having our guys prepared in terms of what we're doing from a defensive standpoint. Aggie has really tied in, whether it be, special edits on guys in terms of individual players. We had a big matchup with Pickett with Penn State, probably one of our toughest matchups of the year, and he dove into that matchup and what we needed to do defensively in regards to defending him. Brandon has done a great job, with putting together the actions of the opposing team. And really taking those to the floor with our scout team. Our scout team's done a great job this year, by the way, as well. I want to say, commend those guys. A lot of times, those guys don't get the recognition. And the guys that play the game and the guys on the floor, they get the recognition. But our scout team this year have done a phenomenal job. Cole Bott's done a great job. Alex has done a great job. Gavin's done a great job. Rowan, Preston, those guys, they don't, you never hear those guys' names, but those guys have done a great job every day preparing our guys for the teams that they're going to compete against. They give us great looks in terms of who our opponents are going to be, and I just wanted to make sure we give those guys a little bit of shine as well. They're incredible, and what they've done for us this season has been amazing. So that's kind of the rundown of our staff in terms of what guys do, from a staff-wise, and our staff's been incredible as well.
We will take 2 more questions in the room in this segment for Coach, and then we'll go to Zoom here on the left.
Rodney, I'm sure every Texas fan wants the Dylan DeSue update. What are the chances he plays tomorrow? What more can you tell us that if he's not available, how you adjust?
Well, it's again, Myron, it's day to day. Dylan obviously worked really hard to get to this point of the season right now. We've got the best trainer in the country, in Warren, and Warren has done a great job all year long. He'll continue to work with them every single day. We went through the Big 12 tournament without Timmy Allen, a guy that had become a real focal point of our offense down the stretch in Big 12 play, and next man up had to step in and do the job for us. No different type of mentality we'll have, going into tomorrow's contest against Miami. Next man up, and that'll be by committee. It could be Brock. It could be obviously CB played. Kristen Bishop played really well for us. Timmy Allen had to play a little bit more inside for us as well. But again, I always say to our guys, we're all we need. We all we got. You know what I mean? So we'll find somebody ready to go, and we'll band together like brothers, and we'll go out and compete as hard as we compete against a really good Miami team.
Okay, here on the front.
Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. RT, you mentioned those guys taking their turns, interior defense. It's a tall team you're facing, 8 guys that are 6'7" or taller. Who have you played this season that reminds you of them, and what problems will they present?
Cedric, you always like giving a reference point back to our league. I thought our league, again, was the best league in the country, and as we've embarked on this postseason play in the NCAA tournament, I think it's always give you guys a good reference point to someone we played in our league, and I always try to liken the team that we're playing to someone in our league. And today, as we started our preparation this morning, TCU was a team that came to mind when we're talking about Miami. TCU, really good point guard in ball, a lot like one that could play downhill, really good player. Mike Miles, preseason player of the year. You got Pack, he's first team all-league in the Big 12, can score the basketball. They're interior players. You throw Lampkin out there, you throw, any of their bigs out there, really good offensive rebounders. Miami's got great offensive rebounders. They have elite offensive rebounders. Same type of team. They can play in transition. They can get up and down the floor. K-State was the other team. K-State can play fast. They can score the basketball. They could turn you over as well. But those were 2 teams that I like in these guys too, that we played, that were really good teams in our league. And again, a lot of respect for Miami and what they've done this season. They're an excellent ball club.
Okay, let's move to Zoom now. Alfred.
Dan Tortora, please unmute yourself, identify your affiliation, and ask your question.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, you were speaking a lot throughout this season and here in the tournament about God and faith. You haven't shied away from that at all and have leaned on your faith. And I just would like you to go a little bit deeper into why you're unafraid to speak on that and include God in your post-game and pre-game press conferences.
Great question, Dan. I was raised by a Christian mom and dad. And my mom was always one that she lives a Christian life. She's here watching us play right now, and she's beaming in the glow and enjoying this ride as well. But she lived a Christian life. She lives a Christian life. And, when you live that way, seemed like I was in church every day. I was in church every day. I know I was taught right from wrong. She instilled in me, or they instilled in me, my parents, a great value system, and with it being faith-based. You're not going to get anywhere in life, without having strong faith, and always taught me that, man's going to disappoint you. God's never going to disappoint you, and he's never going to leave you. He'll be with you in your highest of high moments. He'll be with you in your lowest of low moments. But you had to develop your own relationship with him. And, I love her, and I love my dad for instilling in me to have that as one of my values in terms of having strong faith. And, again, we're not perfect. There's only one person that's going to judge you. And, he gave his only son to us to be able to forgive us of our sins. And I live by that every day, and I have strong faith and strong belief. And I try to not push that down my players' throat, but I try to set a good example for those guys and try to live the right way, and hopefully be an inspiration for them to also understand how important it is to have that as a value when they become a father, a provider, and a great husband one day.
We're about out of time. Alfred, do we have anyone else on Zoom?
Yes. Corey Mose, please unmute yourself, identify your affiliation, and ask your question.
Hey, Coach. Corey Mose, KVU News. First question, with Miami's 5-out look, what struggles does that give to y'all offensively or defensively, and how y'all plan to kind of attack that 5-out look on offense? And then also, how would you rate Timmy Allen's voice?
Okay, I'll answer the first part. I didn't quite hear you on the last question, part of that question.
Yeah, I was saying on that last question, how would you rate Timmy Allen's R&B voice?
Okay, I'll start with the first part of that question with Miami. Boy, I tell you what, they put so much pressure on you defensively with their pace of play. We call it rebound and go. They have any guy can get the rebound and really initiate their offense, which really makes them dangerous in transition. Value in taking care of the basketball is really big. This is going to be one of those games where, you're going to have to do a great job of trying to guard the basketball. They spread you out. It's going to be really hard to play in rotations because they're a really, really good shooting team. And if you're having to play in rotations and they're moving the ball as well as they're capable of moving the basketball, they put a ton of pressure on you with their shot makers. And then they got guys that can go rebound the basketball. So we're going to have to do a great job of trying to guard one-on-one defense and trying to stay out of rotations. Timmy Allen, as for singing, probably wants to stick to his day job right now, and that's trying to be the best version of himself, being a basketball player first right now, and maybe continue to work on honing his skills singing. But those guys are great young men to be around, and they like having a lot of fun. So I encourage them to enjoy this ride and have a joy about themselves here in March.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much. I know you have work to do. You have practice coming up.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being with us.